Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 492 based on novel. So let's start. The young girl was wearing a bright green dress and looked very beautiful. The pole of the umbrella looked like a tree trunk and even the canopy looked like leaves. The thin lines looked like the veins of the leaves. Overall, it was very strange. The girl's skin was pink and very beautiful. With her eyebrows locked and her eyes glaring, she gave off a different sense of beauty. At this moment, the rain curtain was dividing the girl and Wang Lin as the raindrops fell into the river, splattering everywhere. As the rain fell, the sky and earth seemed to become one. Even the green mountains in the distance no longer looked like anything but part of the scenery. As Wang Lin looked at all of this, his face suddenly turned red. This was the first time he had left the mountain village, and he had never seen a girl this pretty. Comparing his playmates in the village to this girl was like comparing mortals to immortals. The girl originally had a gloomy expression, but after seeing Wang Lin stare at her and then turn red, she couldn't help but smile. Her mind like the weather, always changing. "Hey, bookworm, you've seen enough." The girl smiled and even her voice sounded like crisp bells. It swirled within the rain and entered Wang Lin's ears. Wang Lin's face, which was filled with a scholarly aura, became even more red, to the point that even the bases of his ears were red. He quickly bowed at the girl on the boat. "It was rude, I hope lady won't mind." The girl's laughter echoed. Looking at Wang Lin's silly expression, she was about to speak when a soft and gentle voice came from inside the boat. "Junior sister." As the voice echoed, the corner of the canopy of the boat was opened by a jade-like hand, revealing the girl's delicate figure. When the girl's face entered Wang Lin's eyes, the rain in the world seemed to pause. A purple dress and eyes as bright as the moon. It was as if her appearance had caused the world to lose all color, as if her appearance had sucked all the light from the world. It was as if she was the only thing that existed in this world. She was very beautiful, but there was a hint of sadness in her eyes. They seemed to contain sadness, exhaustion, and hesitation. Anyone who saw these eyes would feel pity rise in their heart. They also contained a hint of annoyance as she looked at the girl in green. The girl in green smiled and pulled the girl in purple. She pointed at Wang Lin and her voice was like a songbird. "Senior sister, this scholar is really rude." First, he spoke rudely and then stared at me. "But he looks kind of dumb and is interesting." The girl in purple smiled and her gaze followed the rain toward Wang Lin, who was hiding from the rain on the shore. When she saw him, she was startled for a moment. After taking a closer look, there was a flash of confusion in her eyes. "I feel like I've seen him somewhere before." Wang Lin's face became even more red as he was being watched by these two women. He coughed a few times and clasped his hands once more, not knowing what to say. He quickly turned away to look at the mountain and dark clouds to calm his rapidly beating heart. Wang Lin, you have read so many books, how can you look at two girls like that? It's best to be calm. Once the rain stops, I should continue on my way." Wang Lin took a deep breath of the rainy air and slowly calmed his heart. The girl in purple looked at Wang Lin for a moment and softly said, "Sir, I fear that the rain will last through the night until tomorrow. Since it is fate we meet, how about you come aboard and take shelter from the rain? There will be a place to stay at the next station." Although her words were light, they penetrated the rain and spread out. Wang Lin hesitated for a bit and looked up at the sky. The dark clouds were covering the sky and the rain didn't seem like it would stop anytime soon. It might really last the night. "We are allowing you take shelter on our boat from the rain with good intentions and you still hesitate? Do you think we will eat you or something?" The girl in the bright green dress saw Wang Lin hesitate and stared at him. "Junior sister." The girl in purple looked helplessly at the girl in green. Wang Lin smiled bitterly and nodded as he picked up his bamboo backpack. He held the umbrella as he walked through the muddy path toward the shore. The water and soil had fused together. As his steps fell, mud dyed the edge of his pants. The rain had made the ground slippery, and the shore was a bit slanted. While walking toward the river bank, Wang Lin slipped and was about to fall. A burst of fragrance flowed into his nose and Wang Lin's falling body was supported by a delicate body. It was the girl in purple. Her feet gently kicked off the ground and jumped in a beautiful arc onto the boat with Wang Lin. "Many thanks, my lady." Wang Lin stood on the boat, his face bright red. "Sir, you don't need to be polite. Please, sit." The girl in purple loosened her hand and sat down with a giggle. The girl in green put away her umbrella and sat down next to the girl in purple and began to observe Wang Lin. Wang Lin's heart pounded. From his birth to now, he had never been this nervous. He sat opposite of the two girls after putting down his bamboo backpack. His forehead was already covered in sweat from embarrassment. "Sir, you don't need to be nervous." When the girl in purple saw Wang Lin's appearance, she smiled. She raised her hand and lit up the candle. The fire flashed and lit up the room. The more the girl in green looked at Wang Lin's expression, the more interesting she found him. This caused Wang Lin to feel even more embarrassed. "This scholar is named Wang Lin. I greet you two ladies. Thank you for allowing me to stay on the boat." Wang Lin took a deep breath before he got up and clasped his hands at the two girls. The boat leisurely floated down the river as the rain fell. Although the three were sheltered from the rain, the sound of the rain hitting the canopy could still be heard. The sound of the rain hitting the boat and the river gradually fused together into a wonderful, spring song. From afar, as the sky darkened, the boat gradually became hidden inside the rain. A gentle light came from the boat and gave off an inexplicable sense of warmth in the cold spring rain. "Wang Lin. Why do I feel like I have seen him somewhere before? Even his name feels very familiar." The girl in purple looked at Wang Lin and the confusion from before appeared again. "Eh? Your name is Wang Lin? I feel like I've heard that name before." The girl in green carefully looked at Wang Lin and pondered. The girl in green thought for a long time and finally raised her head. She smiled at Wang Lin and said with her beautiful voice, "Strange, I don't think I have ever seen you before and I've never heard your name before. My name is Xu Fei, and this is my senior sister Ju. As for her name, you should ask yourself." Xu Fei winked, looking very cute. "This one is named Ju Rui," the girl in purple said softly. There was still confusion in her eyes, especially since even Xu Fei felt that Wang Lin's name was familiar. She just couldn't figure out why. As time passed and the clouds in the sky thinned, the moon would sometimes appear but would soon be covered again. The rain became stronger and stronger and the sound of raindrops falling replaced everything. The wind blew in moisture and caused the candle fire to wobble. Wang Lin felt cold, but he saw that the two girls looked normal, as if they hadn't noticed the cold wind at all. The rain rattled and the world outside the curtain was dark. As Wang Lin looked, he suddenly entered a trance. In the dark night and quiet river, it felt like this boat was the only thing that remained. The two beautiful girls in the boat gave off a feeling that none of this was real. Wang Lin's body felt cold during his trance. His vision blurred and he felt sleepy, but he held himself back. He leaned against the wall and slowly said, "You two ladies refer to each other as junior and senior sister. Lady Ju also leaped onto the boat carrying me. You two must be experts in the martial arts world. We are not people from the martial arts world. You are really interesting, bookworm. We are people who cultivate toward immortality, real immortals." The vague voice seemed to come from farther and farther away as Wang Lin became even more sleepy. He faintly felt as if someone was speaking about the Heng Yu sect. "Am I dreaming again?" Wang Lin closed his eyes and passed out. The boat shook gently and even the candlestick shook. The girl in green looked at the girl in purple with a confused expression. "Senior sister, he is only a mortal. Why did you use a spell to make him sleep?" The girl in purple looked at the sleeping Wang Lin. After a long time, she softly said, "I must have seen this person before. However, I just can't remember where. Even you said his name sounded familiar." "Wang Lin. Wang Lin," the girl in the bright green dress frowned and there was also confusion in her eyes. A moment later, the girl in purple shook her head and sighed. Forget it, let's not think about this matter. Perhaps we met in a previous life. Previous life? The girl in the green dress laughed and looked at the dark sky outside. Senior sister, it's about time. We have to go meet with Wang Shua. This time the sect master noticed a golden light from the east and calculated that a treasure might be born. A lot of sects might go searching. Although our cultivation levels aren't high enough to participate, it will be a good experience. The girl in purple gently nodded and got up with the girl in green. Just as they were about to leave, she turned to look at Wang Lin as if she wanted to engrave his appearance in her heart. Just as she was about to leave, the girl in purple hesitated for a moment. The girl in green had already left the boat and was flying using the attraction spell. Senior sister, let us go. The girl's voice echoed through the rain. The girl looked at Wang Lin's body that was trembling and shrunk into a corner and silently walked over. Her jade-like hand touched her bag of holding and a thick coat appeared in her grasp. She gently covered Wang Lin with the coat and murmured. Is it really in the past life? The girl sighed and left. The rain became more and more intense. The rain fell as the lonely boat floated on the river, giving off an inexplicable feeling. This was the aura of loneliness. Ripples echoed in the water as the boat drifted down the river. The boat gradually went further and further away and gradually disappeared into the lonely night. Only the faint lamp in the boat could still be seen wobbling in the darkness. From afar, the wobbling fire from the boat was like a lonely leaf floating down the river as it gradually sailed to the end of a dream. The sound of rain hitting the boat continued, but Wang Lin was having a sweet dream under the canopy. The coat around his body had a faint fragrance that entered his nose and was brought into his dream. Xu Fei. Senior sister Ju Sai. Wang Shua. Wang Hao. Zhong Hu, Wang Lin murmured in his sleep. If those two girls hadn't left and heard Wang Lin's words, they would be shocked. But now they couldn't hear him. Wang Lin's dream was like another life. In that dream, he saw Xu Fei in the Hangyu sect and also senior sister Ju. On the mountain of the Hangyu sect, there was also a white bird that flashed by. After a long time, the little candle flame gradually extinguished and became one with the night. The rain stopped early in the morning. The horizon gradually brightened, but it hadn't completely scattered the darkness. The world was still dim, and it seemed to make people's mood dim as well. The rain overnight had caused the river to rise a bit higher. Although it was difficult to notice with the naked eye, the shore of the river made it very obvious. The rain fell on the soil and formed large amounts of mud that flowed into the river. A boat slowly floated down the river and got closer and closer to the shore. In the end, the boat ran into the mud on the shore and stopped. Inside the canopy, Wang Lin's head hit the wall of the boat when it hit the shore. He opened his eyes in pain and confusion as he slowly remembered what happened last night. However, looking around, the two girls from before were gone without a trace. Last night was like a dream. The beautiful figures of those two girls lingered in Wang Lin's mind. Was it an illusion? Wang Lin was confused and looked at the coat covering him. It obviously belonged to a girl. He gradually awakened. However, in his mind, aside from the two girls' figures, there was also that extremely real dream. He saw those two girls in that dream. All of this confused Wang Lin greatly. The candlestick had extinguished a while ago. This made the inside of the canopy barely visible. After a long time, Wang Lin walked out from the canopy and looked at the dim world. The surroundings were hazy, so he couldn't see too far. The wind blew by, and while it was cold, it also allowed him to smell the fragrance of the soil. He let out a deep breath. Could it really have been a dream? Wang Lin stood at the bow. After the rain stopped, the area was extremely silent. This silence made it seem as if Wang Lin was the only one left in this world. Looking around, Wang Lin felt a sense of loneliness spreading from his body for some unknown reason. As he looked at the dim sky, this sense of loneliness became even stronger. The wind blew by, causing his black hair to flutter behind him. The wind couldn't flatten the folds on his clothes. A bit cold, Wang Lin lowered his head. He didn't know why that sense of loneliness had suddenly become so strong. This loneliness made him think of home, of his parents, of everything. And also of that woman he couldn't seem to remember. It seemed like an invisible force had gathered in his body and caused two streams of tears to flow. Why would I cry? Wang Lin raised his hand and wiped away a drop of tear that was like a drop of rain. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with endless sadness and sorrow that he didn't even notice himself. What's wrong with me? Wang Lin lowered his head and sat down, ignoring the wet surface of the boat. In the serenity of the dawn, tears fell and fused with the wet surface of the boat. This feeling, like he was the only one left in the world, was very familiar to him. It was as if he had felt like this for a long time, walking silently through the world and savoring this sense of loneliness by himself. Wang Lin gradually entered a trance as if there was an abyss before him. This abyss had endless suction force that seemed to be able to drag the sky down into it. Deep inside the abyss, there was a crack, and a lonely figure sat inside. That place was also very quiet, with only the sound of the suction force. The lonely figure had its back toward him. Although Wang Lin couldn't see the face of the figure, he could feel the loneliness and sadness from the figure. In a trance, he saw a young man wearing white with white hair silently walking through the stars. His figure also gave off a sense of loneliness. He saw a lot, and the tears from his eyes gradually fell. This sadness came from his soul and this world. It was as if this world was his soul, his dream. At this moment, he found this familiar sense of silence and loneliness here. Under the dim sky, Wang Lin looked at the water for a long, long time. It wasn't until the cold wind blew by again, causing him to feel very cold, that he subconsciously lifted his left hand and pointed at the candlestick not far away. The candle slowly ignited. Wang Lin didn't even realize this himself. His eyes were filled with sadness and the sorrow that came from nowhere as if it was eternal. In this silence and dimness, the burning candlestick slowly lit up the surrounding area as it flickered. Although it was weak, it gave off a sense of warmth as it struggled to burn. Looking from far away, the figure on the boat gave off a sense of desolation. As time passed, the sky gradually light up. The darkness scattered from the earth, river, and boat. The surroundings gradually cleared up and what was in the distance became clear. Only the rolling, black clouds still moved through the sky. A bird that was like a dot flew off from the mountain and rushed into the black clouds. After piercing through, it flew around a few times before it flew toward Wang Lin. Soon, the bird closed in and Wang Lin raised his head to look at the white bird. The white bird seemed to look down at Wang Lin. Wang Lin could notice a detectable trace of sadness, and that startled him as the bird disappeared into the distance. When the bird left, the sorrow in Wang Lin's heart slowly dissipated. The fire on the candlestick slowly extinguished. What's wrong with me? Wang Lin seemed to have awakened and stared at the drop of tear that was still on his finger. He watched as the crystal drop of tear fall. After a long time, Wang Lin stood up and packed up his things with that confusion and inexplicable sadness. He put the girl's coat in his backpack and walked off the boat. The moment he walked off the boat, he looked back at the boat before walking off into the distance. However, just at this moment, a howl came from the rolling clouds in the distance. The moment this shocking sound rang out, Wang Lin subconsciously looked up and saw an unimaginable scene. Rays of light that seemed to be able to pierce the heavens flashed through the black clouds. One of the rays of light suddenly stopped above Wang Lin, revealing a woman wearing blue. She looked down and her gaze met Wang Lin's gaze. Confusion appeared in her eyes. A handsome young man walked out from the other ray of light and gently asked, "What's wrong, junior sister Liu?" "Nothing, I feel like I have seen that scholar somewhere before." The woman shook her head and flew off into the distance. "A mere mortal. We should quickly go meet with teacher and go to the place that released the golden light." The young man looked at Wang Lin before withdrawing his gaze and looking at the woman. Wang Lin stared at the sky and the two rays of light disappearing into the distance. "Who is she?" Very familiar, Wang Lin murmured, feeling a sting of pain in his heart. This fused with the inexplicable sadness and turned into a strange force that caused Wang Lin's breathing to become rushed and his face to turn pale. His body staggered and he retreated a few steps as his gaze toward the horizon collapsed. His right hand pressed against his chest where the stinging pain was coming from. The pain washed over him like a tide. It was an unspeakable pain, as if his heart was being torn apart, and a sense of melancholy surfaced. All of this came from the woman that flew through the sky. The woman seemed to exist in Wang Lin's mind for countless years, but the thoughts accompanying that figure were very complicated. After a long time, a tinge of color returned to Wang Lin's face. He breathed heavily and closed his eyes. So immortals really exist. Then, is my dream really a dream? Wang Lin silently pondered as he stood on the damp dirt after the rain. It wasn't until the sky was completely bright that he opened his eyes in a daze and silently walked forward. Did I dream of an immortal, or did an immortal dream of me? Wang Lin didn't understand. It was as if that drunken dream before had changed the trajectory of his life. Wang Lin stepped onto the main road and walked toward the capital once more. He no longer had the urge to observe his surroundings but silently walked with the bamboo backpack on his back. His footsteps caused crunching sounds to echo as he walked. The sun rose, the sun set. Wang Lin walked along the official road the entire day. When he was tired, he would sit on the side and take out some dried food to eat. After resting a bit, he would continue on. When the sounds of horses and carriages would drift in from the distance, Wang Lin would dodge to the side. Only after the carriages or horses passed would he return to the road. In the blink of an eye, 7 days passed. During these 7 days, Wang Lin's weak body gradually became stronger. From sunrise to sunset, Wang Lin walked on the road. If there was an inn on the road, he would rest. Or if he could see smoke from a village during sunset, then it would be even better. Wang Lin found it more comfortable than staying in an inn. However, most of the time, Wang Lin would have the illusion that he was the only one left in the world after the sun had set. He would find some shade along the road and cover himself in thick clothes. Then he would count the stars in the sky as he thought of the warmth of his home and his parents as he slowly fell asleep. The fire he had started crackled before him and gradually extinguished. The smoke rose into the air and seemed to fuse with the sky. The wind in the night was cold and would often wake Wang Lin up. Every time he woke up, he would look at the silent surroundings. He felt very familiar with this darkness, and he wasn't afraid. Instead, his head was calm as he looked around before falling back asleep again. This was the rainy season in the country of Zhao. Even if the rain stopped, the sky would be covered in dense clouds and thunder would echo. The rain would often stop for half a day before falling again. On the dusk of the 8th day, Wang Lin propped up his umbrella and rushed forward with a wry smile. The rain fell outside his umbrella and thunder rumbled. Although it was only dusk, the sky was already dark. One more day of travel and I'll reach the capital, but this rain is getting more and more intense. Water covered the ground, so as the rain fell, drops of water would bounce off the ground and land his clothes. His green robe became soaked and constantly suck away the heat in his body. This slowly made Wang Lin feel very cold. When the moist wind blew, the coldness was bone-chilling. Wang Lin shivered and placed his umbrella to mostly cover his bamboo backpack. There were books and dried food inside, along with his replacement clothes. Those things couldn't be drenched. Wang Lin quickly walked through the rain and looked around for some place to take shelter. In the distance, he vaguely saw the shape of a house. He didn't have time to look closely, but Wang Lin propped his umbrella and walked closer. When he got closer, he saw that it was an abandoned temple. Creaking sounds echoed in this rainy night, giving off a sinister feeling as it entered one's ears. The temple wasn't large and was broken. There were 2 doors to the temple, with one closed. The red paint on the door had faded and the ring on the door was covered in rust. Rain gathered on the rusted ring and dripped down. The other temple door was broken badly. Although it was still slightly connected to the frame, it could no longer be closed. It constantly rocked under the wind and rain, giving off the creaking sound Wang Lin was hearing. As wind and rain became larger, the door rocked even more violently as if it was going to be blown off the frame. Wang Lin quickly walked closer and looked at the temple before walking in. The yard of the temple was covered in gravel and weeds. The wind and rain caused the weeds to bend, and the rattling of the rain mixed in with the creaking door. There was a flash of lightning followed by rumbling thunder that lit up the world, allowing Wang Lin to see everything inside the temple. Wang Lin exclaimed and subconsciously took a few steps back. He saw several white skeletons at the edge of the temple. His heart pounded and his face turned pale, but the rain was getting heavier. He clenched his teeth and ignored the bones of the people that had died here an unknown amount of years ago as he walked into the temple. A large statue dozens of feet tall was inside the temple. It was impossible to see its appearance, and its color had long faded. It was broken everywhere. There was water inside the temple. Many of the roof tiles were broken, so rain fell in, causing a lot of water to gather in the ground. A cold aura surrounded this temple. Wang Lin took a deep breath and his face turned pale. He first bowed toward statue before finding a place without water to place his bamboo backpack. Then he placed some dried branches before him and tried to light them. These branches weren't completely dry, so Wang Lin failed to light them up after many attempts. His body was very cold and he trembled as he attempted to light them again. However, just at this moment, a bolt of thunder exploded inside the temple. The resulting rumble caused Wang Lin's hands to shake. A huge shadow appeared and surrounded the area. Who? Wang Lin suddenly looked up, suppressing the shock in his heart, and looked at the door. His voice was very loud, almost a roar. Just as the thunder dispersed, it caused the person who was about to enter the temple to tremble in fear. Who? A frightening voice came from outside. A middle-aged man wearing rags who seemed to have just climbed out of the water took a few steps back before falling over. After taking a closer look at Wang Lin inside the temple, the middle-aged man relaxed a bit. He quickly entered the temple and glared at Wang Lin. Then he vigorously patted his chest and roared at Wang Lin. "You scared me." Wang Lin was startled for a moment and revealed a wry smile. He relaxed and then clasped his hands at the middle-aged man and apologized. "The night was dark and I couldn't see clearly. The thunder also came too suddenly, so I hope brother won't mind." The middle-aged man snorted, and after muttering for a bit, he no longer paid attention to Wang Lin. He sat down on the side and reached into his sleeve to take out half of a wet chicken leg. While looking at it, he burst into tears. His cry was extremely sad in this rainy night, and this caused Wang Lin to feel a chill. Wang Lin moved further away and finally lit up the branches before him. Under the flickering fire, everything inside the temple became more clear. The middle-aged man cried and cried as he took a bite of the wet chicken leg before he started to grin. Then he let out a loud laugh, which startled Wang Lin. A madman, Wang Lin moved further away. If not for the rain outside, he would have chosen to leave. Although this was next to the official road, if a madman appeared in the middle of a rainy night, it was still chilling. The middle-aged man laughed and laughed before crying again. "They don't care about me, they don't care about me. I can't remember who I am." His cries filled the temple and made Wang Lin feel pity. He turned to look at the madman and sighed. The lifelike dream before one awakens. Life is like a play, but who am I? Dreaming is living and waking up is dying, or the dream is dying and waking up is living. The moments of closing and opening the eyes are the moments of life and death, or perhaps it is when one can't separate the real and fake lives. This life is a reincarnation cycle, and perhaps it is also a karmic cycle. However, when will I awaken? Wang Lin murmured, then confusion filled his eyes. During these days, his dreams had caused him to become confused. As he thought for the past 7 days, he vaguely felt something. With a sigh, Wang Lin took out dried food from his backpack and looked at the fire before him. He listened to the rain outside the temple and began to silently eat the dried food. The rain leisurely fell from the sky, shrouding the mountain, the earth, and the temple. In this temple, next to the fire, 2 dream souls that didn't seem to belong to this world entered. One looked at the fire and one gnawed at the chicken leg. The statue between the 2 of them had an elusive smile as if it was looking at the 2 of them. This video will end here.